Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Gaming with Blockchain. I'm your host, A Minu, and we are today looking at our planet. So, when decided to try to do some crafting this week, I know they had made an announcement they were doing some maintenance, so it was interesting to pop into the website and get greeted with yours truly. I'm not sure Mr. Raccoon or what character he is, but wondering what mischief they were up to, and that was what was being presented earlier, or I should say midweek, as they try to do some maintenance on their website. So, what was the maintenance all about? The maintenance had to deal with, of course, readjustments on the staking rewards and some adjustments on how the layout of the website has been displayed. So, if we take a look at the website itself, we no longer see the details of our staking rewards as you would once you log in. And I personally like to see it. Right now, to find this information, I have to go into a particular category of card, and then I can see what my values are. I prefer to see it right off the stage of the bat. Instead of just claim all, I rather see what it is, and I make a decision rather than going in another step and then trying to select the information through another process, another step. I find it unnecessary. But again, I didn't design it. It's not up to me, right? So what else has been done? They had a Bitverse comics added. They put in the pump and dump wars as part of their new category of selections that've been applied, and they've kind of reduced a lot of their previous NFTs that were being staked on their services. So Alien Worlds Abundant cards have been completely nullified, and Colo Block. Now, of course, everyone's making the debates and everyone's having their opinions on why or this is good or this is bad. At this stage, the same thing is, nonetheless, the game has to develop, it has to improve, it has to bring interest, but at the same time, it has to run a business, it has to pay the servers, it has to maintain a certain cost efficiency. And if it means cutting back on some of the NFT staking in order to reserve costs in terms of maintenance and computer power, so be it. Remember, you shouldn't be buying these things just to stake. If that's the only purpose, then you risk that in the outcome or in the long term. So that being said, they also released this week their rig 2, or I should say rig 3 more accurately, which was to help new players get on board, because what was happening, that the market was getting further and further out of reach for new players to jump in. Now, needless to say, this was a good modest attempt to bring new players in. The sale was on Saturday, and the whole point was each rig was only limited to one person, and you had to wait 5 minutes before you were able to do the next purchase. So it was only one purchase the first time, wait 5 minutes, cool down, and go again. Needless to say, everything sold out in basically less than a minute in my regards. So I'm not sure if this was how they had planned it, if this is what they were looking for. Everyone's questioning if bots were still involved. It's hard to say. It wasn't a large volume of packs, but who's to know? So this is what's on the market now in terms of the lowest price on some of these rig threes, being about $72, moving upwards to you know 75, and probably a lot significantly higher in terms of the pack. And you can see the kind of variances and what the mining power will be, or should say staking power in our planet will have in each category. But in terms of packs, you're looking at in the mini pack volume starting from just under $700 onward. So these packs were $130 US, and now they're significantly pumped up in price. So I don't know what's good or what's bad in opinions here, in determining if this approach was any solve the problem in trying to get more players on board, or again, are they still having issues with bots gaining access to these products prior to the other players being able to purchase? Unsure, but needless to say, this is what the price point will be now if you wanted to buy these packs, um, from $130 to 700, 800, if not even going higher than that. Needless to say, that's not something I'm going to be doing, but to each their own. So, what else has been happening on our planet? They've revamped their database. They've added new information in their how they've outlined their staking tiers and recipes. The value calculator they've implemented in their template. If you have the file and you already received the file, you should be able to take a look at the new updates, and you can put in information of what net worth of Aether will be and so forth. They've also added staking values to their category, so you can come in and see what this information will provide in terms of, okay, if you crafted anything and it was a common, what would it be in value in Aether? There's all these little different things in place. The generation recipe as well, they broke it down some more and what in terms of what each element will require, but also the ether involved, what's yet to be discovered. So this is more information to provided if you really want to get down the rabbit hole and take a look at what's going on. Now, the other thing that's been recently discovered, and I'm sure everyone's been seeing it, is money. Money's been a good jackpot in price, so you have to have it like 43 plus 0.6 million ether to craft this particular recipe. But what it could yield is quite an impressive ether value per hour. So if you're lucky enough to get in that category, then you're probably making that money back in no time, or I should say earning that ether back in no time. But now, what does all this crafting mean, and how does these tiers work out? So I've been trying to craft in the last couple of weeks. I've been having issues. Sometimes it's a good craft, sometimes not, and I'm not sure if this is a problem to do with our planet tools, or just the network on Wax, because I mean, I think everyone's having issues with Wax. It's becoming frustrating. The captchas are becoming quite annoying, especially if you're doing a craft and you're just getting one captcha after the other. Time the craft is finished, then you're told that it's the time's taking too long and it's expired, and you have to do the whole thing again. Utterly not a pleasant experience in terms of playability and game interest. So every time I have to craft, this past week, I've had to stop and reset, kind of categorize, and then abandon our tool planets completely, and just do it manually from the get-go. So it has not been the most pleasant experience so far. So my last craft that I did was the let me see where it is, if it shows up. Was a compass. So it's not earning anything too bad. It's a common compass, so 290 on top of everything else. Um, and right now earning about 10,000 ether per hour. Now, could I go back and earn more if I go in and start staking other cards? Uh, Obviously, for sure. But at the moment now, I'm trying to find projects that I do like. If they're part of our planet categories, that's a benefit. If they're not, they're not. But what I would like to be doing is crafting a bit more. However, most items now are not in the price range that I can afford, and at the same time, uh, I have to kind of gauge now, would I take a risk doing it through the Art Planet tools again, or just manually go through it one at a time via the traditional Art Planet generator. So we'll see. I mean, next categories moving forward, if I'm going to do anything in the tier nines, will probably be the Prism or the Pipe. Both of them are significantly high in terms of ether value, but who knows? Maybe something that will pop up later on. But usually when they do, they don't last very long. Only because if something's under 1 million, that's going to be snatched up almost instantly before you know it. So it's going to be hit and miss, and we'll see what happens in the long term in the next few days. If it means I have to wait it out a little longer in terms to achieve maybe the tier nines, I'll have to wait that long. This is just how things roll, right? So, like I said, if you're interested in the packs, you could get the individual NFTs and pay, you know, just under maybe just over $70, or if you really want to pay out the extra, maybe 700% on the packs and take your hand on what you discover there. Um, I haven't purchased any of these new ones to gauge what I want or not at this point. So I'm leaving it open for the moment. I haven't, in terms of my inventory, claimed anything on the lands. I'm supposed to be doing that shortly. I wanted to test more of the crafting and try to figure out why it's been so problematic recently. And it seems like it seems more related to the wax side of things. And so hopefully wax and the team at uh, the wax group really are start addressing this issue, because I have to say it's just utterly frustrating as a gameplay opportunity from that point moving forward. Okay, so what do we have here? Let's go back here. So overall, I think our plan is moving along quite well. Like I said, they've done the adjustments that they needed to do. And that's gonna happen with any game. You're gonna make any tweaks moving along. They're getting ready now with Uplift to secure and build the lands there in Uplift, and they've also opened up the lands to the Borealis landowners as well. So if you have land here and you get to the point of having 5 million Aether, then is that decision. It's working with both land releases between that proposition and opportunity. So that's great. Uh, we'll see how that pans out for everybody, right? Now, that being said, it'll be interesting to see how what new categories come in the next week. They've revamped their staking rewards. They revamped how they bring in new applicants into the structure. Um, because of course there's new releases coming down very quickly as well. So everyone's trying to get on board on and get a jump on the new programs and whatnot. But this is part of the whole space. Is part of the whole metaverse of things and NFT market, as we all know. So this is what I want to bring you to up to date at this point. It's not the most exciting news, I know, but still news nonetheless. And if you have any insights and you've experienced something remarkable, definitely share and let us know. These are the elements that are in place, mirroring the Google sheet that I've shown you earlier. And you'll see later on what's missing. So we have some gas and frost, ice and fridge that still has to be discovered, along with broom and graphite and battery and calculator and so on. So if you're being adventurous and you feel like experimenting, please, you never know what you'll find, right? So again, thank you all for following and sharing. And if you have any comments, please leave them in the show notes. I'll definitely be following up as much as I can in the next couple of weeks and days. But I do appreciate every one of you who's sticking on board and getting into the news and finding out new discoveries in our planet. So until next time, take care.